So Magento, it's an e-commerce system. It's been around for a while, and it's basically a platform. So when you download and install it, you basically kind of have a functional storefront as well. Now, one of the issues is, do you need a developer? Do you not need a developer? Unlike Shopify, which is a SaaS, software as a service, where it's really kind of you sign in, log in, they take care of the hosting and everything, but your functionality is limited. Magento, you have more freedom, but you kind of do need a developer to get your website set up, and any customization you want afterwards obviously has to be done with a Magento. Now there is quite a bit if you learn the manual and then you learn the system. You can do a lot yourself from the admin panel, but you can only do so much through that.
Right.
So it really is, when you look at Magento and comparing it to some of its competitors today, like particularly Shopify, which targets small to medium-sized businesses, it's the ease of use of Shopify versus the freedom of Magento. That's really the question any sort of business owner has to ask themselves when deciding on the platform. One's going to be like Shopify, a monthly fee, but stable, and that's what you pay. That's pretty much it. Magento is going to be you own your project. So you got to, if there's a bug in there, you got to pay your devs to fix it. If you want customizations, that has to all come out of your pocket pretty much. So back to the main point. What is Magento? So an e-commerce platform. So it's a storefront, and it has quite a bit of functionalities. It's highly customizable. So it's very good for especially medium to large scale businesses that have certain requirements. They want really custom shipping, stuff like that, or just stuff that you cannot do on Shopify.
Exactly.
It fits their business need, and it's been around there for a while, so it has a large community behind it. And it's free. It's free to get the actual software, but then obviously you got to pay for hosting and the developers.
Definitely more expensive than Shopify.
Shopify.
I mean, if you include your dev time.
Yeah, the thing is with Shopify is they're doing the Uber model, so they're losing money right now. But because they get new rounds of investors every time, they're able to charge super cheap. But that obviously at some point has to turn. And even now, the Shopify Plus, it's starting to run $2,000 a month plus. And plus a percentage of your transactions. They'll take a cut as well. So it's not so cheap anymore as it used to be.
You have to pay somewhere. For sure.
You're gonna pay. Don't worry, you're gonna pay. The other thing you could probably also warn certain business owners when they go on Shopify. You have to realize when you put your website on Shopify, they kind of own it. They could kick you off your platform if you don't like it. So if you're selling something that they don't like, they could always kick you off, and then your business is in some serious trouble.
Yeah, we had a client like that. How long did they give him?
They were given till I think December, and then they were their particular item.
It was like September, October, August.
Yeah, so I remember they came to us in the early summer or something, or at least when we started development.
They had a lot of time.
Yeah, they had a lot of time, but they was basically end of the year, and they were going to get kicked off Shopify. And had they ignored those warnings or something, they'd be in a lot of trouble right now. So, one thing about Magento you have to consider is you actually own it. You host it yourself. You own it. You get someone to host it, but you choose the hosting provider.
There's definitely some size of business that you shouldn't be. I mean, like if you're having an e-commerce website and you're not generating 100K, 200K, 300K, like Shopify is probably too expensive. Magento is probably too expensive for you, right? And because you will, Magento guys are expensive. And if you don't have one in-house, you're gonna work with a company like us, and it's very expensive. So you need to have a minimum revenue for sure to be considering Magento, and you need to accept that it's gonna cost you a lot of money to maintain and do the maintenance and service side and all of that crap, And if you start getting into it and you like the customization, you will probably get excited about it and want to do all kind of things, right? Like we see all the time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We have to be honest. Like, let's say if a client approaches us and they're obviously very small, we'll just tell them outright at the beginning, no, this is not the right, because not only are we just Magento developers here, we're also a bit of e-commerce consultants at the same time. Kind of, what is the best market solution for you? What are your options? What are your business needs? And we'll tell someone like a mom and pop shop, for instance, that doesn't have a huge amount of revenue that wants to go online or something. No, start with Shopify.
Oh, for
it's
sure.
going to be cheaper. Build up your sales. Build up a client base, and then if you want, once you start making enough money to afford basically a developer, then you could transition over to Magento, because you could do more with Magento. you can customize it. And then the other thing kind of you were alluding to was people, they get excited about customizations and they just basically scope creep to the end of the day. And you have clients that maybe have a budget for a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 website. And what they kind of imagine in your head is basically they want to wake up in the morning, they want like a system that reads their brainwaves and then it fulfills every order and everything is done for them and they go back to bed. And so sometimes what they ask for is like systems. I'm just like, that's like a $500,000 system you're asking for. That's like 3 devs full time throughout a year. The other thing you also got to be wary about is a lot of these companies, it would supposedly be cheaper for them to go in-house to get a Magento dev. The issue is, one, Magento devs are not super common. It is a very difficult platform to do development on. So when you have young people coming out of university, no one knows what Magento is. You say Magento, they think a Magneto from the X-Men moving metal. Like, what is this Magento? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm not allowed to swear.